We shall start the execution of few of the basic steps into programming. So before that, I would like to mention again the advantages of Python as discussed. So as Python is a versatile language, it can be used for different purposes, and also as it is available with a open source phenomena, with a very huge and very active community of developers are being there inside who are working with Python, as well as it has all the libraries that you can imagine to develop any application. Also, um, it has a very profound and large and distinct amount of modules, so which can help us to build any kind of application possibly. Also, as we will see, and if you have any basic understanding, you also have that idea about how easy it is, how easy it is to learn and even to extend the Python for different applications. Also, for any other high level language, the syntax of the Python is so simple, and even the object oriented languages, if we consider, it is so simple comparatively. So that is also one more reason why we try to make Python used for specific other applications. So before we just start executing the program in Python, um, another idea I want to just make you understand is Python is an interpreted language, like which means it uses an interpreter to convert that a human understandable code into machine understandable code. So the best advantage I say of using any interpreted language is that they are some platform independent kind of languages. So you have idea about C. So unlike C or any C++ also, where you have to compile the code first and understand what is happening inside, and then after successful compilation of that, a new file gets created that usually contains what actually machine understands. So that is understood by the CPU itself, right? So, but what happens in Python is instead of that, the translating the code into the machine learning code, the code is translated into byte code. I repeat, the code is translated into byte code instead of machine learning code. Okay, so bytecode is some kind of low-level set of instructions which can be executed by any interpreter. Okay, so and also while using the bytecode, it is executed on virtual memory, right? So rather than storing it in some register where your software is installed, it will be executed in a virtual memory. So the source code of Python is compiled into a bytecode, and then with the help of some Python virtual memory, it again converted into machine code that can be computer understandable. Okay, so we have a lot of variables, operators, and we can comment things. We can apply some inputs. We can print outputs. There are plenty of data types available, and other different options also available to index, to slice, to convert one type into the other, to apply some conditions, loops. Uh, Also some kind of functionalities like recursive functions, lambda functions, and there are, as I said, plenty of packages available, libraries available, and very huge random modules can be created where we can work with some number of files, operations, etc. Right. So we quickly start working with the Python. So though you have a basic idea or not, doesn't matter. So you try to parallelly work with me on the go. Okay. So I'm starting with a very basic format. Like for example, for any coding language, first you must understand what are the keywords that are available, because keywords cannot be used as any other variable, right? So we must first understand what are the reserved words that are there in Python, which are nothing but keywords. So as we cannot use those keywords for as any other variable name or function name, we must first understand them and remember them continuously. Okay. So for that, what I'm doing is I'm importing something called keyword, import keyword, print keyword dot kw list, keyword list. I repeat, print keyword dot kw list. What is happening with this? We are trying to, whatever the number of keywords that are available, we are trying to show them first and print them if we want how many number of keywords are available. Right. So print keyword dot kw list and then print total number of keywords as length of keyword dot kw list. This one. Right. And and as assert break class, continue, def, del, elif, else, except, exec, finally, for, from, global, if, import, in, is, lambda, not, or, pass, print, rise, return, try, while, with, yield, and they are the 31 number of keywords that are available with Python, right? So why I'm reading it and showing you is some of the keywords can be at least remembered with our voice, right? So you don't need to continuously look into them and remember, but at least most of the keywords that we have here are also there in C. Right. So you must have that idea that already most of the keywords that are whatever are here about, I say maybe I say more than 20 keywords are there already in C. Right. And then that this is about the story of keywords, and then about identifiers. So identifier is nothing but that is a name given to entities like class, functions, variables, etc. So when you try to use some kind of identifiers to write, so identifiers can be a combination of letters in lowercase or uppercase or digits or an underscore. So you must remember that when you want to define an identifier, then you must either use lower or uppercase, any number between 0 to 9, or if you want to use special character, there is only one special character allowed, that is underscore. An identifier cannot start with a digit. That must be compulsory to remember. It must not start with a digit. So for example, one variable is invalid, but variable one is perfectly fine. So keywords cannot be used as identifiers. For example, global is a keyword, global equal to 1. It is showing some kind of error here, that invalid syntax, because this is a keyword and keywords are automatically shown in blue color by the system itself. Okay. So similarly, a at, because at is not the special character that can be used, only underscore can be used, and hence this is also showing us an error. Right? Any doubts still here? I have talked about two different points. One thing is what are the keywords, and the other one is what are identifiers, how it can be defined. In keywords, we have about 31 keywords available in Python, and they are almost similar to somehow what we use in C, and about 10, 11 are there which are different from C also. Okay. And while using identifier, while defining an identifier, you must either start with any letter of lowercase or uppercase, but not a digit or special character like underscore. Only one special character underscore is allowed to work with this one. Okay. So when you have used any keyword kind of thing to define an identifier, it is not allowed. There will be an invalid syntax error shown like this. Similarly, if you want to use any other special character than underscore, it will be thrown as an error. Right. We'll move forward where one of the important part of any programming, that is how to comment. Before you start writing a code or working with some part of the programming, you must understand how to comment, because whenever we try to reopen whatever the code that we have written, we may or may not understand. And that is the reason why industry standards are set in such a way that whatever the code, whatever the logic, whatever the simple way that you have followed, doesn't matter. You must comment whatever that you are putting there. It could be writing some kind of hello world in some format, or any other complex thing that you are trying to put there, but it should be done in some simple understandable way, right? And that is the reason why we are trying to comment everything whatever there is possible. Okay, so comments are some lines that exist in computer programs that are ignored by the compilers and interpreters. Including comments in programs make code more readable for humans, as it provides some information or explanation about what each part of the program is doing. In general, it is a good idea to write comments while you are writing or updating a program, as it is easy to forget your thought process later on, and comments written later may be less useful in the long term process. So hash is a keyword. Hash is the keyword that we are using as a symbol to comment. As said earlier, any programmer must remember that that specific programming language has this as a comment. I said earlier, I still confuse among hash, tick, percentage, and few other sections of commenting. Right. So try to understand this as a very important thing, that hash is the word symbol that we can use to comment in Python. Okay. Right. So this is what we are trying to write: print hello world to console, print hello world to console. And what we are trying to do is print hello comma world. Here you can see I have included two different things here. So I have introduced to you something called hash, which is a symbol of comment, and also, just a second, it is taking more time than usual. Yeah, now it is connected. Yeah, it run. So now I have shown you two different things here. One is the hash keyword, which is used to comment, the hash keyword which is used to comment, and also how to print any string in Python. Okay, so in Python strings can be
So,
printed. Yeah,
your voice is being echoed, so I mean, it's just reflecting in all the directions. So,
is it clear now? Better?
okay, so
Better.
better. So.
Or else shall I come out and join
No,
again?
it's fine for me.
Okay, I think that is
Once you
probably,
check,
yeah, I'll continue then. So I have introduced two different things, that is how to comment and also how to print a string. So every time you work with any printing part, if you want to print any string or character or some group of sentences together, you will be using a single quotation or double quotation according to the requirement, and try to write whatever the content that you want to print. For example, I have removed the quotations here and running the code. So it is showing me that error, that name hello is not defined, because there is no definition for the hello. So if you want to print some statement and you want to print a string which is having some meaning in your language, then you have to keep them in quotations. Okay, like this. And then if you want to go for a multi-line comment, here I have only used a single hash to comment a single line. But if you want to go for using multi-line comments, that is also allowed. Like for example, if I say, if we have comments that extend multiple lines, One way of doing it is to use hash in the beginning of each line. That is like this, right? So this is a long comment and it extends multiple lines. So we have 3 lines of comments here where I am using hash for 3 different times, right? So first line first hash, second line second hash, third line third hash. Fine. Is there any other opportunity of printing some kind of comment in the other way? Yes, we have. That is, when we have a multi-line comment, then we can go for using 3 tick marks together. 3 tick marks. It could be single tick, it could be double tick, not a matter, right? For example, this is also a perfect example of multi-line comments. If we run this, what happens? It started with single tick. This is also a slash n because it is a new line. Perfect example of another new line slash n multi-line comments single tick. So whatever the comment I have made here are applied between single tick and whatever there is a new line statement that is available also printed with slash n. Right. Similarly, if we want to go for a docstring in Python, docstring is some kind of short for documentation string. For example, it is a string that occurs as first statement in a module or function or class or method definition. You can observe it here. So def double number colon function to double the number, return 2 star number, print double 10. For example, here you can see that I am defining something here with double and then function to double the number, return 2 star num, print double of 10, because as double is something that already existing with a keyword background, we cannot use it for regular documentation kind of thing, right? And that is the reason why there is an invalid syntax thrown at the screen, right? Similarly, if we are using it like this, print double dot doc. So docstring is available to us in the attribute doc of the function. So this double again has a problem and hence there is a missing parenthesis in call to print and hence we'll be producing some kind of error like this. Like for example, in the first statement, print of, we have used a parenthesis, hello world, right? So this is a general statement of printing anything in Python, general syntax of printing anything in Python. For example, if I use, okay, we'll come back to understanding this one. Before that, we'll go with how Python indentation is useful here. So in earlier cases like C, C++, what we use it to do is, instead of writing some code with an indentation, we use it some kind of flower braces, right? So these flower braces, what it will do is, it will try to help the compiler to understand that there is a beginning of the new sentence or line or new part of the code, etc. Right? But in Python, we don't need flower braces to be used. We can only use a specific line space or a tab. I repeat, a specific line space or a tab. For example, if space I in range space range of 10 colon print I. So this print I statement must be inside the for loop, right? So usually what we'll do in C, we'll make a flower brace open. After the for loop, we write some set of statements and we will go with the closed flower brace, which means that whatever the number of statements that are there inside for loop will be printed between whatever the flower braces are there. But in Python, what we are doing is, instead of taking those flower braces, we are only using the indentation part. Indentation means this is my statement. Whenever I enter, whenever I come to the next line, there will be some specific empty or white spaces created by the Python itself. Right, we are not creating anything. I am not creating anything. Again, I will show you. I have just selected enter. So there is two empty spaces created. Okay, so these two empty spaces is called indentation, right? Only two empty places must be used. We can use three or four empty places. Yeah, it is fine. So it is up to you, but you have to compulsorily follow the same rule for all other statements that is there inside the same code block. For example, here I have taken two white spaces or empty spaces. If I am running this code for I in range, something like this, for I in range, print I like this. So we are able to print values from 0 to 9, right? So when you are running this particular code with a specific indentation of two empty spaces, that is fine. Similarly, what if I take two more empty spaces? Yes, it is also running again. What if I am taking three more empty spaces? It is running. It means that automatically the system which is working with Python will be considering whatever the empty space that is there between the for loop and the set of statements inside the for loop, and consider the same amount of space for all the further printing statements, whatever the statements that we consider, right? But there should be at least a minimum of two white spaces, right? For example, if I take print I, print I again. So now you can see I have used two empty spaces here as an indentation, but I am using four empty spaces as an indentation. I am printing two i's at the same time. What if I run? There is an error which is saying that there is an indentation error where unexpected indent is seen. Then if I either go back and run, then I will be printing two i's 0, 0, 1, 1 and so on. That is fine. Or if I run like this, again, the first print statement after the for is encountered with four white spaces as indentation, and next the print statement that is being provided after print I is with only two white spaces, and hence this is an indentation error again. Or if I have consider four white spaces for the next print statement also, that is again allowed, right? I hope it is clear for everyone, right?
Sir,
So yeah,
sir, we haven't defined I now, but still it is working.
yeah, I haven't defined I specifically, but inside for loop itself, I have got some information that I has a range from somewhere to 10. In Python, every initialization starts with 0, and hence here I is also defaultly initialized from 0 to whatever the range that we specify here. In Python, there is no need to initialize a value before you can use it. Okay. For example, in C, what we do, int I or float I, like that we'll be defining. But in Python, we know there is no need of defining any variable before we use it. Okay. Clear?
Done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super. So my intention here is to make you understand about the indentation part. In most of the Jupyter platforms that we use, there is no specificity of creating this many number of white spaces for indentation. Okay, that's what my earlier two examples are helping you to understand. Okay, so now I wanted just to print I am just printing that. Okay, so just a second. Yeah, just a second. Yes, so that is about yeah. So that is about indentation. Now we will look into actually this code. What I have specified is in Python 3, but it is somehow converted into Python 2. I couldn't. Though I have mentioned it. It is not converting. It's okay. So I'll make changes to the individual parts of the code. So indentation can be ignored in line continuation, but it's good idea to always indent. For example, here I am writing it like if true, print machine learning. As I'm printing, I have made some indentation automatically try to when I try to go for a new line, it automatically goes to whatever the indentation that I have provided earlier. Okay, there is no specificity or manually I don't need any indentation to be provided it for 2 times or 3 times depending on the first indentation that I have created. Automatically system will be itself trying to give us that space for indentation, right? So that what happens is it will be giving us a better readability while working with the code, right? So if I go it like this, so if true, print machine learning C equal to AIIC, because I don't know what actually C is, why I have written, but just for understanding purpose, I am making you learn that whatever the next statements that I am going to give can be auto indented if you are typing it on the way. Similarly, we can we can do it like this: if true, print machine learning comma C equal to AIIC. So here what I am trying to do is I have used some semicolon kind of thing between two print statements. So machine learning C equal to AIIC. Here what I have did, print machine learning, print machine learning, print machine learning. Next line I have made it as C equal to AIIC, right? AIIC, right? So in Python it is allowed that whenever we are going for a new line, we can use the semicolon to make that whatever the other statement possibly that is there into a new line. So now system is able to understand that the first part of the print statement that is available till this semicolon is considered as one statement, and after this semicolon is considered as a new statement. Okay, so like that we can able to write the code in the same line also. It is allowed in Python to write some kind of definition in the same line like this, or to read to have a better readability, we can proceed writing something in this format, right? This is a wise way of writing the code than this one. This is also allowed. Next one is Python statement. So instructions that a Python interpreter can execute are called some statements. For example, a is equal to 1, right? So a equal to 1, one value of 1 is stored in a. Or the other way is multi-line statements. For example, though I have some space allowed to write the code in a horizontal fashion, I want to write the code in the next line so that I can make it more readable. For example, a is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus, I want to continue this statement, but I want to write in the next line. Continuous, but next line. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus, later after the plus, I'm using a hash mark, backwards hash mark, and hence from that computer will be trying to understand that, okay, this fellow is trying to break the continuous statement and trying to write it in the next line. And from the next line again, after looking into the hash mark, it understands that, okay, we are trying to write it here. Okay, so later after that, obviously we will be able to print that, print a, we'll be getting it like this, print a 36. Right, 1 plus 2 plus 3, 6 plus 5 plus 4, 7 plus 8, and so on, we'll be getting as 36. Similarly, if we try to print a here, in this line, I'm adding a code block, running it, a equal to 1 now, and I'm trying to print that. Now it is 1, fine. And here I'm replacing the value of a with 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on 8, and hence I'm running it again, I repeat, running it again, and trying to print. Now the value of the outcome of a is 6, right? Similarly, the another way is we can directly use these braces, a equal to whatever the number of statements or number of lines that we want to cover. We can consider that many number of lines, but we start the declaration of the content with a flower, with a normal brace, and we close that with a brace, right? So 1 plus 2 plus 3 and so on, 4 plus 5 plus 6 and so on till 8 will be printing us the same result exactly like how we are trying to print it by using the backward slash. Okay, clear? Fine. So next one is, I'm declaring, as said, as we have seen earlier, we wanted to separate two lines with a semicolon. I'm here trying for the same, a equal to 10, b equal to 20, c equal to 30. We can use the semicolon to enter multiple statements in a single line. For example, if I want to print all the values of a, b, and c, as I have defined it in upper line of the code, I can print it exactly like this. Okay, like that we can able to print the statements. It is not that a is 10 semicolon b is 10 semicolon c is 10, as it is not like a, b, c are horizontally represented in a single line as a multiple statement. It is not printed like this, right? As I have defined to print a after b after c, it is printing in this fashion. Okay, clear? Any doubts till now? So we have seen the comment. We use single hash mark for a single line comment. We can also use single hash mark for every line if you have multi lines, or we can go for just using single quotation or double quotation with 3 in number for a multi-line comment. Similarly, we can go for using something like this. Similarly, we can go for using some statements to declare in this fashion, where there is a comment between the code, that is also allowed. Similarly, we can use the statement to be written in this fashion, that is also allowed. Similarly, if we want to go for writing some kind of code with a new block or indentation, we can automatically get some kind of indentation with 2 empty spaces or 2 white spaces, or you can just extend whatever you want. You can extend where how many number of indentations that we want, that is also fine. But when we are writing multiple number of things inside a loop, then you have to follow single indentation format. It could be 2, it could be 4, it could be 10, it could be 11, anything is fine, like this. Or if you want to just write all the statements in a single line by using a semicolon as a separation, that is also allowed. So if true, print of machine learning semicolon C equal to AAIC, that is also allowed. Similarly, if we have some kind of single statement or multiple statement to print, that is also allowed like this. You can declare it like this, a equal to 1, you can print that. Or if you have some kind of long procedure to allot to the any variable like a, that is also allowed like this. So you can write the same line of statements in multiple line by following a backslash like this. Similarly, we will be getting the same result. Similarly, in order to not to use this backslash, we can also go for using something like brace. So this brace is making the computer understand that I want to enter all the values with the same line. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 5 6 plus 7 8. So we'll be getting the result as 36. Similarly, if we want to enter the input values just like how we have made some process followed, we can also do that by separating all the contents with semicolon. Then if we print, we'll be getting a result in this fashion, right? If you use slash n after a, then a new line will be printed, or slash n before b, 10 20 30 will be printed in the new lines. Okay, so that is how the basic versions of the Python follows. Now we will look into the variables. So variable is nothing but some kind of location in memory which is used to store some data. So they are given unique names to differentiate between different memory locations. The rules for writing a variable name is same as the rules of writing identifiers in Python. So here I'm using something like a equal to 10, b equal to 5.5, c equal to ml. A is an integer, B is a float, C is a character or string. Similarly, if we want to continuously mention whatever the variable names that are there with their input values assigned, we can also use it like this. A, B, C equal to 10. 10 will be assigned to A, 5.5 will be assigned to B, ML in quotations will be assigned to C. Right, that is how we have did it in the upper code block. Similar way, we also can able to assign the same values in this fashion, that is allowed. Or if you want to assign the same value for multiple variables, that is also allowed. Like a is equal to b equal to c equal to a. So all the
Hello, Anudeep.
madam.
Is it mandatory we have to use double quotes?
No, ma'am.
Single quote also allowed, no?
Yeah, single quote is also allowed, madam.
Okay, okay.
So whenever we take single quote, and for example, if I use MLs, for example, when we use some kind of name, Anudeep's notebook, we should use single quote, no? To avoid that interface problem, most of the cases we use double quotes. That's it. But single quotes also allowed. Yeah. So to proceed further, so a equal to b equal to c equal to ai. So I have assigned the same string for 3 different variables in a single go. Right. Same if we want to go for understanding the storage locations. Storage location is something that automatically, as this is Colab, Google based platform, so it is storing somewhere in the server, right? And that server is allotting us some space, so where each space can be seen here. So connected to Python 3, Google Compute Engine backend, RAM 0.88 GB, 12.68 GB, disk 23.17 GB, 107.72 GB. So this is what that actually has, and we are now taking access to these connected path and RAM disks and identifying what actually the address that Python variable is looking to, or where it is stored. So x equal to 3, print id of x. So id means what is the identity of x. For example, if I ask identity of myself is my house address, right? So similarly, this x identity is now we are defining x first and finding out its identity. So x equal to 3 means it is stored at somewhere and that identity is printed in this format. Similarly, if we want to create a new variable with the same value, create a new variable with same value, then also we can get the similar identity, right? So when we want to observe both the identities, if we have some different values, then you can observe that the identities are changing now, right? So earlier the identity of y when it is 3 is same as x, but now when the value of y is changed to 2, the value of the identity is also changed, right? So similarly, if we are looking for some data types, so every value in Python has a data type, something, some data type, right? It could be integer, it could be some string, it could be some floating value, or it could be something else, right? So since everything is an object in Python programming, data types are actually classes and variables are instance of these classes. For example, if we consider numbers, we have integers, floating point numbers, complex numbers. So which are all the three different types of numbers falls under numbers category of Python, right? So which we usually a short form a kind of representation is int, float, complex, right? So you see a is equal to 5. I'm using something called print a is of type. Is of type means some string, and then type of a, keyword type of a. What this type means, it will be showing you what kind of class it is belong to, which one a. So I'm printing the value of a first, is of type class int. Similarly, if I go with a equal to 2.5, a remains same, but the value assigned to it is changed to floating value. And hence, as it is changed to some floating value, it is considering as a floating value class. Similarly, if it is a complex value, again, it will be considered as a complex value number, like this, right? So this type is one of the best keyword that I say that we will be most profoundly using to find out what actually the variable is. Especially while working with data analysis, this type has a significant role. And then here we have used, instead of type, we have used is instance. Is instance is something that help us to find whether that helps us to find whether this value whatever is there is belonging to the same keyword type or not, same data type or not keyword type, same data type or not, right? So now it is printing that for with the initial print statement, print a, what is a, 1 plus 2j is a complex number, and then the result print is instance of 1 plus 2j comma complex. It means if I hash it and run, 1 plus 2j is a complex number. Fine. 1 plus 2j is a complex number is what I have given as a print statement. And now print of is instance 1 plus 2j comma complex. It means 1 plus 2j is complex or not. Is instance of a comma b. A comma b means a and b are same or not. Right. So you can understand now is instance is a question that is posed between two values. Right. The first value is 1 plus 2j. The second value is complex. As 1 plus 2j is a complex, it is returning a print statement that true. What if it is not true? What is it is not print statement? Is instance 1 plus 2j comma complex returns a value of true. What if I remove this hash? Print a is a complex number and is instance 1 plus 2j comma complex. I repeat, I haven't used the print statement here to print the result because this is belonging to the last line of the code in this code block, right? I'll come back and show you what happens if I don't use print in a multi-line statements, right? For now, there is no change in the output that is shown. Okay, but there is a difference between printing is instance of this one to generally without printing, without using the print statement, right? We'll come back to understand that later. For now, we'll move to the Boolean function identification and understanding. So Boolean represents either true value or false value, right? So here true value or false value can be understand just by looking it like this: a equal to true. I have assigned some functionality to a where I'm printing what is the type of a, right? Because as I am giving it either true value or false value doesn't mean it is storing 0 and 1. It is only storing a is some true, b is, or if I am giving a as false, it is storing some false, right? So for that reason, when you are asking the interpreter to find what is the type of a, then it is returning something called bool. Bool is nothing but a short format for Boolean type, right? What if I give false, then it is also bool, because true and false are the Boolean functions. What if I give 0? Type int. So you must understand that true, false versus 0, 1 is completely different. Okay, and the statement whatever we are trying to give as an input as a Boolean type must follow the same fashion. It should not be small t, it should be compulsorily capital T, so that if we are writing it like this true, then only you will be getting the keyword as this. Okay, similarly, if we are trying to use some strings, so what are strings? String is a sequence of Unicode character. For example, we can use single quotes or double quotes to represent strings as discussed earlier. Or if you are using multi-line strings, which can be denoted using triple quotes also, right? As we have earlier used in quotations, like here. During the comment section, we have used 3 quotations here, right? So similarly, here also we'll be trying to understand the same process. Okay, trying to implement the same process. So a string in Python consists of series or sequence of characters for suppose letters, numbers, special characters, etc. And strings can be indexed, often synonymously called subscripted as well. I repeat, subscripted as well. Similar to C, the first character of a string has the index 0. For example, here I am running s equal to, this is online AI course, print of s. Whatever the statement that I have given between the double quotations is stored in s as string, and this string is printed whenever I have asked. Similarly, if I am trying to print only one of the value of the string, value here doesn't mean the number, but the position of the string. For example, always in Python, the number system follows from 0 to infinity, whatever there is. And the infinite is nothing but whatever the last number that we use. For example, some 10,000. 10,000 to 0 can be come in a fashion like -1 to -10,001. Okay, like that we can come. So here I'm trying to find out the position. So the T, capital T position here is 0, H position is 1, I position is 2, S position is 3, fourth position is empty space, fifth position is I, and so on. Okay, so whenever we try to print s of 0, it will be printing capital T as output. You can see here capital T as output. Similarly, if we try to print 1 2 0 1 2 3 4, fourth position, it is printing nothing. It doesn't mean nothing, but it is showing as an empty space. Until you select and highlight, it won't be shown as an empty space, right? So anything that you can consider here can be printed in that fashion, right? T, H0, 1. Similarly, if we are considering something in an opposite direction, that is also allowed. For example, S of minus 1. As said, S of minus 1 means whatever the highest value is considered as minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, 7, and so on till whatever the number that it comes for T. Instead of 0 to some value here, we are coming from minus 1 to that value, whatever the highest that we have here, plus 1. Okay, so it is allowed in Python to come from the opposite side also, right? Similarly, if we want to slice some of the string that is there given in the index, like for example, this is online AI course, but I want to print only till is online AI course. That means I want to start printing from the 5th position of the whole sentence. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th position is I. Right. And hence what I am trying to print is from 5th position, that is I, ES, empty space, O, N, and so on. Right. If I want to print it from 3, I can do that. Yes, 3 to the last. T is 0, H is 1, I is 2, S is 3, and hence I am starting to print from the 3rd position. S is online course, and so on. Right. We can also print that from 4, which is an empty space. That is also allowed. Right. But only thing is you have to select that one and identify that as an empty space, because my background is a white color and this empty space is also white color. Obviously, we cannot understand that as an empty place. Right. For that reason, sometimes when you are considering a long sentences, the print statement, whatever that we use, will be created between quotations. Then at least you can understand that as there is some space between quotation and the first letter, it means that there is an empty space, like that. Okay, clear? Any doubts till now? We can apply slicing as much easy as possible. Okay, you can come back and print, you can come back and slice, that is also allowed. Okay, and next, list. So list is an ordered sequence of items. It is one of the most used data type in Python and is very flexible. Here flexible means you can add, you can delete, you can change the position, you can replace the values of existing content, etc. Right? Because there is another type of data type which is not flexible like a list, and that is the reason why I have quoted this. All the items in a list do not need to be of the same type. For example, declaring a list is items separated by commas are enclosed within brackets. Here a equal to 10, 20.5 hello, 10, 20.5 hello. I have used a value in a value. I have taken a as a variable where the a consists of a list of elements. In that, the first element is 10. The index of the first element is 0. Second element is 20.5. Index of the second element is 1. Third element is string hello. And the index of the third element is 2. Right. So when I want to print a of 0, then we'll be printing 20.5. Or if you try to print a of 0, we'll be printing 10. Similarly, if it is a of 2, we'll be printing hello, like this. Okay, only these quotations, whatever that we are trying to represent in the head of the string, makes the variable to understand that as a string. That doesn't mean it will be always considered to print as quotations string. Right. For example, I'm giving 2 more quotations here. Now you can see, though we have a quotation and a quotation, this hello is not considered as a string. That is an error. So instead, what we can do is we can take single quote like this and try to print that statement like this. Now you can able to understand that if you want to print quotations over the specific string, you have to give it in an opposite way. And for example, this is also allowed. This is also allowed, where externally I am making the A to understand that double quotations hello is the string that I want to print. Instead, single quotations are only hello. Right. So like that, we can able to consider strings to be part of a variable or a list and able to print the result. Okay, as it is asked first element, I'll replace it in order to not get confused in the future. So lists are mutable, meaning value of elements of a list can be altered. So a of 1 equal to 30.7. So I am trying to replace the value of a of 1. Earlier a of 1 value is 20.5. Now I wanted to replace it by 30.7, and hence if I run it like a of 1 equal 30.7 and print a, the values of the a are replaced with 30.7 at the first position. Got it? This is what the earlier output is. The input applied is 10, 20.5 and hello, and I am trying to replace the position 20.5 with 30.7 and I am successful. Right. Similarly, there is something other data type called tuple, which is one of the very important element, very important type of data type in Python. While we are working with data science applications, this tuple plays a very crucial role. Right. So tuple is an ordered sequence of items, same as list. The only difference is that tuples are immutable. Immutable means we cannot change the items that are there inside tuple. So tuples are once created, cannot be modified. So the only difference that I can show you here is in list starts with a square bracket, ends with the square bracket. Similarly, tuple starts with the normal brace and ends with normal brace. So here also I have given t equal to an integer 1 at the 0th position, 1.5 in the first position, and a string in the second position. If I want to print a specific element out of it, so t of 1, I'm getting the result as 1.5. But when I try to replace the position of 1.5 with other value like 1.25, there is an error thrown on the screen. It means it is not allowed to change the value of something inside a tuple. I repeat, it is not allowed to change some value inside a tuple. Okay, so these are the main differences, and hence I am quoting them and quickly moving forward. Okay, there are also some other examples we can see. We see it in the afternoon class or tomorrow, or day after tomorrow. Sorry. Okay, so moving forward, the other type of data type is a set. Set is an unordered collection of unique items. Unordered collection of unique items. Unique items means which belongs to the same type. So set is defined by a values separated by comma inside the flower brace. Items in a set are not ordered. For example, a equal to 10, 30, 20, 40, 5. So if I'm printing a value, it is throwing us a result that 20, 5, 40, 10, 30. Whenever I again run the value, 25, 40, 10, 30. Again I run the value, 25, 40, 10, 30. It means whatever the value that is there inside is not just repeating the same as an output, but it will be ordered in some fashion and that will be printed. So we can just see print of type of A, then it shows it is a class of set. Right? So we can perform set operations like union, intersection, or two sets. Set have some unique values like this. So S is equal to 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 30 like this. So print of S is equal to, it will be automatically understanding what are the duplicate elements that are inside and replacing or attenuating whatever the duplicate elements are there and print only one of its variable in the output. Right. Print of s. How many values you take inside doesn't matter. It only considers one value among the whole. Like for example, I showed 220s are there, 330s are there. But among 220s, it is only considering 220s as a 20, 30s as a 30. That is called set here. Automatically, it will try to not to consider the duplicate elements that are available. Okay. So similarly, if we try to print s of 1 like this, it will be posted with some problem, because s of the bracket that I have used here is a different collection of items, right? So that is the reason why it is not throwing us any proper output. Instead, it is throwing us some error called type error. Okay. Similarly, other one is dictionary. Dictionary is also an unordered collection of key value pairs, which shortly called as KV pair. KV pair means, so you can see in the example that D equal to A apple, B bat. So this A is called key, apple is called value. Similarly, B is called key, bat is called value. How many number of inputs that you consider for D? It will be the same. So whenever we want to print the value of D, it is coming it like this. So A print of D of A, it will be printing only the value. When you call key, value will be printed in the output. When you call key, value will be printed in the output. What if can I call value instead of key? Is it allowed? There is no key called apple, right? So you cannot call value to get key. Only you can call key so that value will be printed in the output. Okay. So instead, you can also try it like this. Into D. Then what happens instead, as we have asked earlier that to print what is there with A, instead we are asking to print whole D, whatever is there inside D, print that. So it is printing in this fashion with flower braces like this. So it means that these flower braces represent this is a dictionary, right? So dictionary is like this. If you want individually to find out what is the value, then you can call that key to print what is the value. Okay, like this. Call A, if you call A, then the value of the key A is apple. Also, we can convert the data types that are available in this fashion. For example, I have taken a float value of 5. So it means that 5 is an actually integer, right? 5 is an integer. But what we are trying to do is we are calling 5 with float. It means Python allows type conversion, and we wanted to convert the integer value 5 to float. So that is the reason why we are getting an output as 5.0. Similarly, int 100.5. So what it is trying to do is it is attenuating the value of 0.5 and producing output as 100, because we want 100 as integer as output from 100.5. It is not rounding it to 1.101 and showing us 101, right? It is not like that. Whatever the elements that are there here, from that it will be trying to erase some of its value and producing whatever the other value that is available. Okay, clear? Similarly, if we want to convert any integer into string also, that is also converted. So the values shown here, like between two quotations, values shown here is not a number. Okay, number will be printed as 100. but not quotations 100. Okay, quotations some value means whatever that is there inside will be considered as string. I repeat, whatever it is there between quotations after printing, it is considered as string. Similarly, if you want to convert from one to the other, like conversion to and from string must contain some compatible values. Here I have used 10p, which doesn't have any specific meaning at all, right? So if you are trying to convert 10 to float means that is allowed, or 10.5 to integer means that is allowed, but there is no proper meaning for 10p, and that is the reason why we are thrown up with some value error. Value error means there is a value which is not actually a value. Okay, by on some mistake there is p that is defined there, which is not allowing us to read the value. That is the meaning of this error. Similarly, user equal to Satish, lines equal to 100. So print congratulations. So you see that congratulations comma is kept in double quotations, and then user plus double quotation started. User is nothing but whatever the value that we have considered here. We have considered a string Satish plus you just wrote between quotations. It means it will be as it is printed, plus str of lines. Lines means 100 is assigned to lines, and hence str of lines means whatever the value that is there here will be considered as string here, not value, string plus lines of code, which is lines of code. You run that, you can see congratulations Satish, you just wrote 100 lines of code, right? So similarly, if we want to find something in a different way, for example, I want to remove a string here, you can see that there is an error because user has string inside the value, right? Satish is a string that is assigned to user variable, but here lines is assigned with an integer, and hence when we are trying to print in the form of a string, it must be converted into a string and then be printed. Hope you understand, right? The problem of why we have got an error earlier, right? I repeat, as 100 is a number here, integer here, it cannot be directly printed with the strings. Hence, you should treat this 100 and type convert into a string. And that is the reason why I have quoted this lines variable, and hence automatically 100 number will be considered as string and that value will be printed. Okay, like this. Like this. Okay, str of lines, not the quotations, str of lines. Okay, similarly we can convert one sequence to other, like a equal to 1 2 3. If you are looking for what is the type of a, then we can understand that is of type list, and then if you are converting it into a set, it is allowed like this. Okay, if you want to print s, then you can see the difference between this one and this one, right? So initially it is considered with list fashion, the square bracket, and now it is converted into set, which is flower brace, right? So that is how it works. We can convert that also. Similarly, list of hello. So if you want to convert all the individual values that are there inside the string into a list, then it is allowed to convert it like that. A list of hello, HELLO, separately, right? So it is allowed to convert a string to list using list of something. Okay, clear? Any doubts till now? Why we are obtaining like this? Why we have some errors like this, etc.? Someone?
Sir, can we convert a tuple into list or list to tuple?
No. Tuple is something that cannot be changed to any other form. Okay, the values whatever are there inside cannot be changed to any other form. Okay, and that is the reason why tuple has a significant role in data processing. Whenever you consider a tuple, the values that are considered to replace or rearrange or convert from one format to the other form are not allowed. Okay, anything else? Okay, it cannot be converted into something like this. Okay, sorry, it is converting. Yeah, it is converting. It is converting. Got it? Hello, the one who asked the question. It is converting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anything else? Any others? Anything else? So we started with finding out how to represent some keyword, how many number of keywords are there, and from that we found keywords cannot be used as some identifier or a variable, and there are some formats to be specified to use some variables, and we have used them. And from that we have started to see how to comment, how to multi-line comment, and what are the different types of multi-line comments available, and then to create some doc strings in Python. And from that we have executed some format of outputs through something like this. And then you started indentation, where indentation is something that we don't use flower brace or some other kind of significantly used things to uh, separate one line with the other line in Python. Instead, we will use indentation, where in indentation also in a single part of the code, the indentation must be constant. If we are using two empty lines, like empty spaces, we can use two empty spaces for the whole code. Or if you are using one empty space, we can use one empty space to the whole code. And then we have seen how we can able to represent all the code in the same line or the same thing in a different lines for better understanding, etc. We have seen all of them like this. And then move it to understanding the data types, variables and data types. So variables we have defined, we have converted, we have assigned, we have restored, we have understand the address allocations in Python. When it is the same, though we are using a different variable, the address will be represented as the same. Though we are using a different value for the same variable, then the address will be changed. Similarly, data types, how numbers are used, how variables are used, how booleans are used, and the strings are converted from one format to the other format, how many different types of data types available, like lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. And then we also have made type conversions between one format to the other format, and found that can be converted into the other whatever the types are, though it is mutable or immutable, right? So clear till now? Any doubts? No? Okay, then fine, we'll take a break. We'll connect back at 12. Now it is 1 o'clock, right? So we'll connect back at 2 o'clock. In the afternoon session, we will go with some one-to-one kind of things, okay, to better understand whatever the things that we have done till now. Okay.
Okay, so thank you, Anudeep. I request all the students. Okay, so sir, without sleep last night, he came from Chennai. Even then, because of commitment, he is delivering his talk without any break. Okay, try to learn well. Whatever doubts you are having, try to interact. Clear that only Dharma is asking doubts. What about remaining all 100 students? So this is not class. Be interactive. Whatever doubts you are having, try to resolve it there itself. Okay, please join at 2 o'clock sharply. Andeep, can I
Yeah,
leave this meeting now?
yeah, we can leave,
Can we
madam.
join once again at 2 o'clock?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.